Hey everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as Scraps, and I know it's been a while, but I'll explain all the details in probably a vlog coming up soon. For now, I want to teach you guys this very sick, very deep and dirty growl. So have a listen to this demo I've put together, and I'll guide you on how to make this beast of a synth. So what we need to have in this combinator is a blink maelstrom. I love maelstrom, gives me all the dirty nit grit. Anyways, I'm going to first attack my mod wheel. For the index, I'm going to throw that all the way up. I don't mess with any of the mods, so we can turn those off. For my first oscillator, we're going to turn this to throat, so we can get some nice different harmonics when we bring up the index to 32. I'll play this when it goes through like this little index. Super picky. And for the motion, we're going to take that down to -39. So it's going to slowly increase over time. For the attack, I'm going to bring this up. Same thing for the release. I want that to be a little bit smoother. But for now, let's turn on our second oscillator. And for our second oscillator, we're going to leave it as a sine and bring it down 2 octaves. This will give us our sub bass. I'm going to route oscillator A through filter B. I'll make sure the shaper is turned on. It's routed to, filter B is routed to the shaper. Make sure the shaper is on. And make sure for our filter A is up about 101 for our sub bass. Oh, for our sine wave, we're going to take this up to about 85. And for filter B, we're going to do something a little bit special. We're going to set it to an amplitude modulation, or AM, and we're going to throw up the frequency all the way and use our keyboard knob too. See, when we bring down the frequency, I'll let you decide on how it should sound. So I'm gonna do it with and without, so that way you can really understand what's going on. It gives it a little bit of extra crunch. You might not be able to hear it, but it's there. Anyways, I'm gonna minimize my maelstrom because we don't really need them right now. So I'm gonna go to my creative effects and throw on a pulverizer. I want to turn up my squash and dirt, so my squash can go up to 30, 32. Throw it up kind of high, and then dirt, let's go that to about 21 or 20. Since that sounds a little bit loud, I want to take down my volume. 65 should be fine. Next, what I'm going to throw on is 3 Audiomatics. Now the Audiomatic is pretty crazy because you can just keep throwing them on and it'll start to get a little bit more detailed into the sound. It's quite crazy. So we're going to dive into that here in a minute. So my first Audiomatic, I want to set this to hi-fi. And I'm going to bypass all these other ones for now. I'm going to turn up my transform knob. I'm going to turn that to 70. And make sure my dry wet. Okay, so that's good. For our second Audiomatic, I'm going to turn it on. Leave it on tape. I'm going to turn up the transform probably to like 85. And the dry wet, we're going to take that to 70. So it still retains our character and our nasty tape saturation. So for our third Audiomatic, what I'm going to do is I want to turn it on bottom. And I want to take the transform knob to 18% and leave the dry wet where it is. So we're getting a little bit more bottom end to this. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to throw on a Synchronous. Synchronous is perfect. And it turns out that when you go into there's a preset for the Synchronous that goes super well. It's actually the first one. And if we have a listen when it's on, it gets pretty crazy. But I don't want this to be on most of the time. So what you can do is you can add an edit modulation. It will just automatically create its own lane and device chain. So that's perfect. But I'm going to take this pattern and I'm going to go to the second waveform. And for this, I didn't really want that super crazy pitch. So I just took my line tool and I kind of got rid of that. And I used my other line tool to kind of pitch it up like that. And I also did that for the oncoming down ramp as well. Trying to make it a little bit less, well, less there. So I'm going to use a square wave to bring that down a little bit more. And I didn't want to do that for the final waves, but what I could do is take down the level a little bit more, and on the wave take down the level on this. But what we want to do for this special Synchronous preset is we want to bring back our frequency to there, and we also want to do that to the character. And for our final one, for our third one, I think I added a little bit more to the amount of the reverb, and that should give us our Synchronous type of effect. So I'm gonna turn on bypass. Oh, and I forgot to arm this synth that we're working on, so we can hear it in the mix. So that's pretty cool. Next, we're gonna give it a little bit of widening. So I'm gonna create the echo. I want to take my time all the way down, take it off sync, and I'm gonna set my milliseconds to 8. And I'm also gonna turn up the feedback and take the dry wet back a bit. Then I'm just gonna throw on a maximizer, because this synth can get pretty out of control. And you really, if you're going to make this synth like the main one, then just throw on a maximizer. If you absolutely have to remove some of the EQs or something, just throw on a PEQ and just search for the frequencies like that. But I don't want that in the mix, so, and I think this sounds perfectly fine by itself. I don't need to remove anything. But there you guys have it, your very own Tirone. And it's pretty nasty, and I'll be sure to give you guys your own resources coming up. So take care with this tutorial. I hope you guys learn a lot, and I'll see you guys here in a few days for a vlog. Take care and peace.